devices generally in our world. And when I'm trying to decide which implementation I'm going to use as an implementer, there are, thank you, yeah, this is the ledger. So there are two kinds two classes of silicon, of logic devices I can use to implement my IoT device or whatever I want. So one of them is the microcontroller path, and the other one is the ASIC path. And there is something in the middle, all you clever fellows. We'll get to that thing which is halfway between microcontroller and ASIC. So sit on your hands for one minute. I know it exists. So what is a microcontroller? A microcontroller is a chip which runs the software you give it, and every time it wakes up, it boots, it looks, and it finds a program to run, very much like your own computer. And the way it does it, it looks for the next instruction and executes it. Then looks for the next instruction, executes it. Of course, it could have maybe 8 cores which do it all at the same time, but it's a serial device. And how do you program it? You use C or Java or Python or whatever. And what is nice about these devices is they are very easy to acquire if you want one. They cost, the cheapest ASICs, the cheapest microcontrollers now are less than 10 cents. They don't do much, but they do quite a lot for 10 cents. 10 cents, I think it's less than a tomato. So they do quite a lot. And people know how to program them because it's quite easy. You just connect them with Arduino and so on. And a lot of people are using them for all sorts of very interesting things. For example, this is the ledger, which Avseni has one. You want to paste your private key so we can send you money publicly. Oh, very good key, very high security key. So the ledger is this is a Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin, but all of the coins. It's a cryptocurrency wallet, which has inside it has a very interesting secret. Of course, it has your wallet inside, and it has so this is what you see here. I'm not sure you can see. This is a teardown of the ledger, and this believe that this orange box is a microcontroller. So the microcontroller runs programs one after the other, one after the other, and it's programmable very easily, and you can upgrade it, and you can find different tests for it. This is the microcontroller. And on the other hand of the spectrum, you have the ASIC. ASIC is application-specific integrated circuit. Application-specific means it's built for one purpose. It has a fixed functionality. How do you program it? Does anybody know? How do you program an ASIC? Of course, it doesn't wake up and find that's programming. The program is actually burned using optochemical process onto the device. And you use what is called hardware description languages, HDL. The commonest one is VHSIC, hardware description language, also called VHDL, also Verilog. And this isn't taught in high school. Maybe it should be. But what is nice about the ASIC is that because it's task specific, it can do things in parallel, and you can do things in the most efficient way. For example, if you want to do video compression or cryptography or something like that, which Bitcoin mining, thank you. I see a lot of chain bros. Okay, yeah, you can do Bitcoin mining. Anything that you have a very fixed mission, you want to do it very efficiently, that's an ASIC. So the problem is that the ASICs are actually cheap to manufacture. What does that mean? It means that once you have this lens, this thing that you use for the lithographic process, you can churn out a lot of them. And because they are very, very specific for their purpose, they don't use a lot of silicon for things they don't need. They only do what you want. They do nothing else. And because of that, they're also very power efficient and very small and very cheap. But getting this lens done, this filter done, is very expensive. And updating it is very expensive. Not many companies in the world can fabricate. Oh, thank you. I hope you won't regret this because it's going on YouTube. I hope. I you can ask you can ask OL to okay, don't worry. Okay, OL will take care of you. Maybe you should spam the chat until it goes away or something. Anyway, so an ASIC is cheap to manufacture, but you have to be really, really committed about it. You have to prepare ahead of time and get all this layout and things like that. So, all you clever fellows, what is sitting in the middle of the road between a microcontroller, which is software defined and not so efficient, and the ASIC, which is super efficient, but you have to be very, very committed to making tens of thousands of it, otherwise it won't be. Thank you, Gil. So FPGA. FPGA. Who here knows what FPGA is? Does anybody know what FPGA is? I have. Okay. So half of you know, half of you don't know. That's okay. That's okay. So an FPGA is it's a chip that is like half of the way between a microcontroller and an ASIC. In the morning, it wakes up and it reads a program from memory, but the program doesn't say what is the code to run. The program says how do you connect internally all the registers and logic gates and so on. So you can actually build your own logic device. And I just want to tell you that you know that Mac computer, the one which has wheels that cost $1,000. You heard about it? The Mac Pro, right? The monitor has a stand which costs, and you could get wheels. I think the wheels cost $400. The MacBook. No, it's not the MacBook wheel. It's the little wheels that go under the computer. You can buy them for $400. So this computer has a lot of cool features other than the wheels. It's very, very powerful. Yeah, the cheese grater. Yeah, it's refined. The refined casters. Thank you. Yeah, wheels. Yeah. So it's used for very computing intensive workflows such as music creation and film and rendering and so on. And one of the things they can sell you is something that they call, I think, a supercharger or a turbocharger or something like that. And it's basically a PCI extended board which has a bunch of FPGAs in it. And what is the idea? FPGAs are very good at things that have to be done in parallel. For example, video compression or audio filtering or things like that. So Apple thought that it's a good idea to offer it's hardware acceleration, but every day it's accelerating something else. Yeah, so you will find in most of your computers a combination of CPU of general serial computers, microcontrollers, and ASICs. So, for example, your iPhone, which has obviously you can upgrade the software and the firmware, and every day it runs something else. Can render web pages and so on. It also has an ASIC. And what does this ASIC do? For example, it has an ASIC which is in charge of handling the radio frequency communication, or of doing video compression, or audio processing. And one of the so FPGA is in the middle of the road between microcontroller and ASIC. It's much more expensive than an ASIC, and it's not as power frugal as an ASIC, but you can get very good performance out of it, and you can do things that you couldn't do with a microcontroller. And do we have a PC? Do we have an FPGA in our PCs? And you don't have an FPGA in your PCs. Intel is working on moving FPGAs into their system. They're thinking really hard about it. And there was a really cool paper which a student of mine presented last week called Jackhammer, which shows how these FPGAs can get lots of cyber problems they can cause, which is also cool for me, I guess. We don't have FPGAs right now. But you can imagine that it might be very useful. For example, if you want to have, let's say, you want something that recognizes your face and unlocks the computer when you pass across. Obviously, image recognition is very intensive. If you have an FPGA which only recognizes your face, obviously, you have to program it to be programmed for your face. It might be more power efficient. But so let's wait until next year and find out. So from now until the end of my discussion of AES, we're going to be in microcontroller country. So I'm assuming that AES is performed one instruction after the other. We're going to list the instructions. If you want to go to the Asic way of doing AES, which is quite common, actually, crypto processors are a very good use for ASICs because crypto is accelerated very well by hardware.